What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and today we're going to look at the Ole Miss spread playbook in College Football 25. This is the Lane Kiffin offense, and what I like about this playbook is it has a nice mix of basic spread formations and concepts along with a bunch of veer and shoot. So if you're a big veer and shoot guy but want something a little bit beyond that, this playbook is for you. If you like a good mix of the two, definitely use this one. If you're unsure if you like spread or veer and shoot, again, this is the playbook for you. Now, this is a very big playbook, especially compared to the run and shoot playbook we looked at before. It's got a lot of formations, a lot of plays. That's not a bad thing. It has kind of like everything you need if you wanted to run any type of spread offense for the most part. Now, we're going to go over the formations and concepts and play types and personnel, and hopefully by the end of the video, you'll have a good idea of what this playbook is all about. So Lane Kiffin, what I find interesting about him is how he's evolved as a play caller and what he likes to do offensively. Back in his Stafford days, when he was at USC back in the 2000s, of course, he was all pro style on West Coast. He used every bit of that when he went to Tennessee for a year, to the Oakland Raiders, and then back to USC, and even back when he went to Alabama as an offensive coordinator. But once he got to Florida Atlantic, he brought Kendall Briles with him, and that's when he started using some veer and shoot. Now he's at Ole Miss, and he does just a good mix of the two, and I thought EA done a pretty good job of showcasing what he likes to do. So let's start off with these formations. The bulk of the playbook is shotgun, but we do have a few pistol formations. I'll just go ahead and start here. You got deuce close, two tight end look, you got bunch, and then you got Y off trips, and that's it, just those three. But there's enough there to whet the palate if you like a little bit of pistol in your playbook. And you got one full house formation, and that's the only full house formation in the game, if I'm not mistaken. You got 9 plays there. Again, you could just treat this as a third and short, fourth and short, or just any type of change-up play. You have a little bit of that in there. But we're going to spend the most of our time in the shotgun. Now, the bulk of this is going to be two things. One, a lot of it is one back formations, a mix of your basic spread and your veer and shoot. But this is the lone two-back formation in the playbook in terms of shotgun. It is split slot offset. And then you get into your 11 personnel, your one running back, one tight end. The bulk of the playbook is going to be a lot of this, so keep that in mind. Another thing to pay attention to, along with that tight end 86, notice what he is doing in a lot of these formations, especially when he is attached to the offensive line. Starting off with doubles, Y off weak. Look, he is off the line. That's why it's called Y off weak. Then you go to stack Y off weak. He's the same situation. So we got 2 stack receivers. Then you get into wide slot left. This is our first veer and shoot formation, but still, he is off the line. He's off the line here in the weak version. Then you got wide slot right. Guess what? He's off the line again, and he's off the line again on this one. And then you get to the Y off trips. Guess what? He's off the line again, but this is going back to another basic spread formation. Then you get to tight wide open. So every time he is close to the line of scrimmage, he is off the line of scrimmage in some shape or form. So I'm bringing that up because a lot of your runs and play actions and such work off that tight end being off using those zone splits and things of that nature. So let's go to our more spread looks. You got tight wide open. The tight end is still out there, number 86, so it's still technically 11 personnel. You got stack Y flex. The tight end is still out there again. Then you got spread double flex. Then you get back to some more veer and shoot. This is what most people think of when they think veer and shoot is stuff like this. What's interesting, though, this is a true 10 personnel look. Yes, you can sub in some packages and whatnot and get some other guys in there, but by default, this is the 4 wide. Then you get into wide stack, same thing, wide bunch, and then you're going right back to that tight end out there by default with tray open strong. This is another basic spread formation. Then you go to tray open, and then you get to empty base flex. This is the only empty formation in the playbook. So again, kind of notice a lot of one back, the tight end off the line when he is somewhat attached or close to the offensive line, and then you get into your spread looks where that tight end can kind of be anywhere and everywhere, and then again, just a bunch of mix of your wide formations and basic spread stuff. So that is the playbook in terms of formations. Let's go over to personnel and look at these a little bit further. So your 20 personnel look, your 2 running back, no tight end, you just got the 1 split slot offset. 11 personnel, like I said, the bulk of the playbook is 11 personnel, so you're going to spend most of your time using this particular personnel grouping. But you do have a few of the true 10 personnel, the 4 wide stuff. You got wide, wide stack, and then wide bunch. So it's all the veer and shoot. So whenever you go 4 wide, you're definitely going to really widen out that defense with those particular formations. Then the rest of this is going to be your, your full house tight at a 32, and along with your QB kneel, then your goal line. You got your clock management, and you got 112 personnel, and they stuck it right at the bottom of this list for whatever reason, and that is your 12 personnel look at a deuce close, which is from the pistol sets. All right, so those are your personnel. Now let's talk about concepts. This is where it really gets really fun. You can notice the play counts. You got your 59 runs, 79 options, and 22 quicks, and a bunch of mediums, and several deeps, and a little bit of play action. Of course, we know that changes a little bit later once we look at play types. But let's start off with the runs. So what did I talk about in the formations? That tight end being off the line. When you see that a whole lot, you're going to see a whole lot of that zone split look with that tight end coming across the line to block. Well, we're starting off with some counters right here, and notice counter Y, more counter Y. Guess what? More counter Y. What's that tight end doing? He is going across that line. So this is going to be a bulk of your run game. It's going to be that zone split action. And you're going to have a lot of counters in here. That's why I suggest you use these. Plus, counters just work really well in this game. I really like them. They're fun to use. So here we got the tight end off the line. Again, just notice what he's doing, a pulling guard going with them. And then you're just off to the races after that. So you want to keep showing that defense that same action whenever you got that tight end out there. So you got several of those counters, 9 in particular. Inside zone, this is going to be your number one run concept just in terms of basic handoffs. But notice, inside zone split. More zone split. What's that tight end doing? Going across the line just like normal. So let's go ahead and select this one. We'll go up against something random. And this is just basic run, but there's that tight end going across the line, blocking somebody off the weak side right there. So you mix in those inside zone splits with those counters, show them that same action. 17 of those. You got 11 draws. That's actually a high number compared to some other basic spread playbooks I've looked at. So if you are a heavy drop back guy, I suggest you use some of these draws. And I'm a big draw fan. I think these work pretty well in this game just because they're quick. So here we got 5 offensive linemen and 5 defenders in the box. So you just go up here and try to find whatever crease you can and get the yards that you can get out of that. So that's a good mix if you're going to plan on using a lot of drop back in this playbook. 11, again, is a high number to me. So you got 2 ISOs, you got 7 outside zones. This is a nice complement to your inside zone. But even notice lead zone weak. What's that tight end doing? Guess what? He's going across the line. That's that split action. So again, you got 7 of those. You got 8 powers. This is another good complement to your counters. You got halfback power O, you got quick base. Most of it's just a pulling guard of some sort. Then you go to 4 sweeps, and they're all kind of different in their own little way. You got one out of like the split slot. You got an action with the fake jet right there. Then you got halfback sweep out of the full house, and you got strong toss. But there's only 4 of those. Then you got 1 trap. So the bulk of your run game is going to be inside zone, counter, power, and they all showing that same action, again, if you're going to use that tight end a lot in your run game. Now let's talk about options. So you got a nice mix of basic options and RPOs. It wants us to start off with RPO peak. There are 7 of these. As you can see right here, those are pretty good concepts to use. RPO alerts, 20 of those. That's a whole lot. I'm a big fan of some of these RPOs. Let's go ahead and just pick one. I'm going to pick one with a tight end split action just because I like it. Let's go up against a random nickel. So again, you got 2 high safeties. I'm probably just going to hand this ball off. But what we can do is it's possible if that nickel on the right comes crashing to the line, I may just throw it out there to my Z receiver on the right. So let's see if I can pick that off. Well, nope, we're just going to hand it off. That was a good decision. So what we saw there was that nickel just kind of staying put. So we just handed the ball off to the halfback. But again, a lot of good stuff here. There's 20 of these RPO alerts. You got 6 load options. These are basic speed options. You can tell every one of them is literally called speed. Read option, 20 of these. If you're a basic read option guy, there's plenty of it in here. And guess what? We got more wide lead, more tight end split action, Y lead read option, GT read option, more Y lead. Again, notice the theme in your run game. That tight end split look. You got 2 shovels. You got those 6 speeds again. You got 4 triples. You got a shovel, you got a QB slot, and kind of a couple of different looking ones. And these actually are halfway decent to use what little time I got to spend time with them. Then you got 14 RPO reads. And again, just more RPOs, more or less. And as you see right here, there's plenty to work from. So out of all these, use the RPOs you enjoy, but then use some of the options you enjoy. Just a nice, good mix. Again, that's what I said at the very beginning of the video. It's just a nice mix of spread stuff. Let's go to quick passes. You got 7 Ohio's. That's actually a high number compared to what I've seen. So Ohio, as you go back here, Ohio is a go route with an out route underneath it. So if I went ahead and selected slot outs out of gun spread double flex, we'll go ahead and select that. Let's see if I can make this look halfway decent. So it looks like we got a crashing down of a free safety on the left. So what we can do, I may just go somebody on the left, go over here, going to get a nice first down right there. I just kind of go, it's a mirrored concept, so I just kind of pick a side and roll with it. So what we can do, try this again, another breakaway by the out route, really good play right there. Either way, if you like the Ohio route, this is one of the few playbooks where I feel like there's quite a bit of it in there. Again, there's 7 of them. You got one scat, but notice what the name of the play is called. It's stick. We all know what stick is, and guess what? It's got a slant on the backside. Speaking of, we got 6 slants. This is your more mirrored concepts, but even some of these are still called stick. You got spacing 1, and guess what slant spacing looks like? It looks like stick on one side with a slant on the other. So notice you got 7 sticks, you got 6 slants, and all of them are a mix of the two. So that is your entire quick passing game, a slant, stick, or a combination. Okay, now let's go to medium pass. Curls, basic any hitches and normal curls are going to fall under here, and there are 19 of them. So look at, I like the nice just variations you got here. So you got your gun white all hitch, but then you go to curl flats out of gun spread double flex. It just kind of which ones you like the most. You got a little bit of everything in here, which I think is pretty cool. You go to 3 slot crosses. We got 23 choices. This should be normal if you run a veer and shoot offense of any sort, and this one has a nice good mix of it. But some of this stuff is not in your wide formation. Notice gun stack Y off weak. You got a tight end doing either a post or a fade route. But most of these, as you could tell, is that PA deep choice stuff. Veer and shoot. It just smells and reeks of veer and shoot in a lot of these particular concepts. But again, 23 of those, I highly suggest you implement this in your offense. Double moves, 5. You got 6 drives. Drives is your dig and your drag underneath going in the same direction. We can go ahead and select like post corner drive, for example. I'm going to go up against a random nickel. And again, you got drive on one side and you got looks like a smash on the other. So I can do something like this. He looks wide open. I saw 2 guys wide open, actually. But if you like drive, if you like a dig and a drag underneath, that's just good stuff in there. Especially it complements shallow cross really well. So you got 7 levels. Levels is like drive on steroids in a sense. You got multiple, but again, it's still kind of drive. You still got a dig and a drag underneath it. But sometimes you may have a third drag underneath or a little in route like you see with level switch with the dig and the 2 drags or little ends underneath that. So again, drive and levels, they kind of just go together more or less. Then you got 8 mesh, so we got a little air raid in here. And there's 8. That's a solid number, more than enough for you to enjoy. And I love mesh in this game. I think it works really well. You go to 4 pivots. We got 4 shallow crosses. Again, this complements your driving levels because it's the same thing. It's still digs and drags. Then you got 22 smash. As we all know, this is the most common medium pass concept in the game, just a ton of it in most of these spread playbooks. And as you can see here, we got plenty of it, just your basic high-low. I'm gonna go ahead and just select one and see if I can make it look halfway decent. So I like the corner flats. Let's see if we can make this. I think he's gonna get caught right there. Nope, we're gonna get lucky on that one. But those corner routes are pretty good against man. And of course, you got a little post right over the middle. Looks like they're doing, can I split that? Nice, 6 points, good deal. You got to time that one just right to make that one work. Either way, plenty of high-low smash stuff in here, and it should be a mix of corner flat and flag hitch. So you got shakes right there, and we should have, you got bench, that's pretty much a flat and a hitch. And there we go, smash halfback check. That's the most classic smash look. Again, a bunch of that in here, you got to use it. Then you have spot. You got 10 of these. This is your little triangle read on the right side. You got like a little hitch, a curl hitch, and you got a flag and a flat underneath that. This is classic West Coast. It doesn't shock me there are 10 of these because, again, what did I just say? These are West Coast concepts, and this is what Kiffin grew up on, was using a lot of spot. And then you got Texas. There's only one of those. That's that little angle route. Okay, so you got a nice mix of things right there. Plenty of things to choose from. You go to deep pass, we got 8 comebacks. I love the comeback route, really good against man. You got dagger, 2 of those. You got 3 divides. You got double post, 5. I struggle with this particular concept, to be honest. I just feel like the posts are too close to each other. I guess it works pretty good against zone, possibly. But either way, if you like double post, there's enough of it in here for you. There's only 5 floods. If I remember correctly, the Oregon playbook, which is another good popular spread playbook, has a ton of flood. Well, this playbook does not. So if you're a flood guy, this playbook may not be for you. You got tons of verticals, 13 of those, pretty typical for a spread playbook. You got 3 meals, you got 3 Portlands, and you got some shot plays. These are just good complements to your verticals. And again, a lot of these are going to be play actions, as you can see right here, PA slot cross, PA double post. Then you got 5 switches. A lot of this will come from your gun wide stuff, as you can see over here on the left, PA choice deep. Then you go to wide cross, 3 of those, a little bit more of the air raid thrown in there for you. Okay, so notice we just had a ton of different concepts, and you had a little bit of everything, which again, it's just like a nice blend of stuff. Let's go over to play action. We got 4 boots and you got 6 slides, and the slides are very important because what did I preach at the beginning? That tight end split look, so you PA slide out of gun doubles way off weak. We'll go ahead and select that. Notice what that tight end is doing. Give that defense that same look. Get him over there, and he can make some plays off that. Give that tight end some love if he's going to block for you for so much off of those zone splits and counters and powers and whatnot. So you got several of those. You go to screens. We got several bubble screens. Most of these are these RPOs we looked at earlier. Then you go over to flanker screen. We got 12 of these. If you like to get the wide receiver screen action going, there's plenty of it in here, 12. Then you got, it says 1 halfback slip screen. And this is where I wish EA would kind of update their playbooks a little bit. It says that we only got 1 halfback slip screen. But as we know, when you go over to the play types on the screen side of things, there's a bunch more in there. We'll see here shortly. Wide receiver mid screen, there are 2 of those. So now let's go over to those play types. Let's go to pass. You got your quicks, your standards, and your shotgun, but let's go to play action. We got 53 play action plays. Play action has to be part of your offense. So again, inside zone, counter, power, use that zone split action, then do play action off of that. That's why there's so much play action in here, because we got so much run game in our playbook. Okay, so 53 of those, pick the ones you like that really complement your run game. Screens. We got screen pass. There's 22 of these, but notice we actually have a halfback slip screen. Guess what? Another slip screen and another one. For whatever reason, they just can't label those correctly on the concept side. I don't understand why. All right, let's go over to runs, inside handoffs. 38 of them. We've already established this is going to be the bulk of your basic run game, just a handoff between the tackles of some sort. You do got your 7 outsides. You got your 3 pitches, your 9 counters, your 11 draws. You got 1 fullback run that's at a goal line, and you only got 1 QB run, and that's at a goal line. So if you want to do normal classic QB runs, there's none of it in here. But you don't need it. You got all those RPOs and options and whatnot. You'll be fine there. Let's go to option. Those are your 30s. These are all your speeds, your reads, and your leads. That's what I like to call all these. And some shovels to throw in there. Plenty enough there to work with. You go to your RPOs. These are your same ones we looked at earlier. You got 10 reads, you got 11 peaks, and you got 20 alerts. So a good mix. And that is it for your play time. So when it comes to formation, there's really nothing here that I really want to point out per se. But what I suggest you do is, first thing I always like to do when I go through these playbooks is look at the first 6 or so plays in each formation and kind of find a trend or two. So notice I got a split slot offset. We got a nice little series going on here. We got a double pass. That's a trick play, by the way. Then you got an RPO, and you got to play action off of that RPO. And you keep on going. We got more motion stuff. You got the PAY cross. You got a spot, and that goes back to your West Coast concept. Then you got a Y cross. That's a little bit of air raid. And you can just keep on going. Then you go to doubles way off weak. Guess what? We got more pre-snap motion, more series. You got a jet sweep. You got a fake off of that, and you got a play action off of that. Guess what? We got more jet sweeps. There's plenty of that in here, especially these first few formations. So what I like to do is to go through these and just go and pick some of these formations and just look at the first few and kind of see what you got here. You keep on going, and then again, anytime you get to your wide slot stuff, your veer and shoot, you know what to kind of expect there. And there's just a ton of it in there. So it just kind of comes down to what you want to do. Do you need a lot of veer and shoot? It's in here. Do you need basic spread? It's in here. Do you need RPOs? Do you need options? Do you need basic handoffs? It's all in here. And as you can tell, this playbook is massive, and we could talk about it for another hour or so. There's just so much really cool stuff in here. I think you'll enjoy it. This is just like a when in doubt. This is my spread playbook. This is where I'm going to start. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.